Hello everyone, I'm back for another Taff's Word. I know I only done one yesterday, but some pretty important news came out. Something that, me personally, I've been waiting for pretty anxiously. I'd imagine a lot of you have been waiting for it. What the hell is happening with the pitch for next season? I mean, we already know the North Terrace is going to be closed, so that's one of the changes that we've got to deal with the stadium. But the pitch is the one thing that we simply cannot have the pitch the way it was last year again. And to be honest with you, the state of the pitch and the fact nothing's been done with it could be a big factor in our odds for relegation. Because we're still amongst the favourites, but we've got a feeling it's going to be a different year. And if we get the better pitch, we're keeping a lot of the players that Feeney signed. And say Feeney failed, but doesn't mean his players are poor players. Obviously, he bought them in, and his system was all wrong. But they're good footballing players. I mean, like the likes of Randall, the likes of Reagan, Labardi. You know, we're talking about some good footballers there that need a good surface as a home pitch to play on. Can you imagine how much better the team that we had that won 7 in 12, at the end of the season to save us, how much better they would have been if they had a better surface to play on. And the day wouldn't change a thing. But going forward, we want that surface now. As it stands, there's a good chance we won't play a home game until possibly the end of August or even the beginning of September. Yeah, it's not ideal, I tell you now. But the thing is, it is what it is, and what's even more worse than having to play a bunch of away games to start the season with is obviously having the same pitch that we had last year, or potentially worse, which is exactly the point that I'm trying to make. I would rather play our first 5 or 6 games away. If we get a home draw in any of the Checker Trade Trophy or the EFL Cup, switch them so we play away. I'd rather do that and play out the rest of our home games on a better surface than allow the pitch to be anything like it was last year. So the people who are funding this pitch and what pitch it's going to be. Basically, the Welsh Rugby Union, for those of you, I imagine everybody knows, but for those that don't know, the Welsh Rugby Union won the vote to be able to complete a takeover of Rodney Parade so as they're better facilitated to take the Dragons forward. Fair enough, fair deal. Wasn't too keen on them with their first ever sort of public sort of statement on their potential acquisition of the Newport Gwent Dragons and Rodney Parade, when they basically, when asked about us, just basically turned around and said, well, it's a rugby stadium, and didn't really have much to say about us. Obviously, we're fearing now, thinking, oh my God, if we think Rodney Parade are bad, what could the Welsh Rugby Union be? How bad could they be? Basically, from what I've heard recently, they seem a far more professional outfit than Rodney Parade. I've been very, very critical in these vlogs about Rodney Parade. I can't stick them, to be honest with you. And the fact that the Welsh Rugby Union are taking over, the fact that they sound so much more professional, the fact that they're open to talking to us about the deal that we've got, the fact that they're going to lay a better pitch, the fact that they're going to fork out for the pitch that we need. Obviously, they can't lay an artificial pitch down. I know contracted, it means that they can't do it anyway. But the fact is, they're not throwing their toys out of the pram like the people at Rodney Parade would do. They're being professional about it. They're talking to our board, and they're talking to our council. And there's even the possibility that there could be some actual work being done to the stadium itself with the council. And I myself, I've had a conversation with our Labour MP, Paul Flynn, who actually owns community shares. Obviously, he bought shares during our takeover, and he's been very supportive of the county. He was there at Wembley. He was there for the Notts County game. And he's someone that seems very open to supporting the sport in the city. If we get a good enough stadium there, think of the aspiring boxers that are coming through at the moment. You get, it's becoming like a modern thing where a boxer will fight a big fight. When they get to choose the venue, they'll fight a big fight at their local football ground. Cal Brooks just done it at Sheffield United. I know, obviously, what's his name? Tony Bellew's done it at Goodison Park. It there's absolutely no reason why aspiring, world champions from Newport wouldn't want to be able to fight their fights at Rodney Parade, in a nice stadium. And I say this, it's potentially it could be a really big, good, nice stadium, you know, and then maybe Newport County's long-term future could be there if we've got the right deal. And the thing is, the fact that we're getting the better pitch, the fact that they're going to listen to us, means that there's a lot more hope right now than what there was a couple of months ago. We have got the opportunity now to push on with Rodney Parade, work with the rugby. We always said it. We got to try and work with the rugby. Well, trust me, I know we tried, and there's just some absolute dinosaurs who were running the rugby beforehand. Thankfully, they're not going to be around. They'll get their money because that's all they ever really cared about was their money, and they'll move on. Thankfully, I'm glad that we're run in such a better way. We're not run by people who are profiting from our football club. We're run by fans who are doing their best for the football club. And as critical as people are of them, that's what would you prefer? Someone who could potentially strip the club of his assets, like they're currently doing at Blackpool or Charlton, selling off all their best players and not giving the manager the money to replace them, selling off training grounds and everything else, and putting it in their own pocket. Our fans, who run our football club are doing it out of heart, and there's nothing more stronger than the heart of a volunteer. Someone who actually loves our football club running it. I mean, that's what we bought into at the end of the day. And the Welsh Rugby Union, they're proud of rugby in Wales, and they've got every reason to be. Every time there's a rugby match, it's an absolute spectacle. They know how to put on a show. They know how to run a professional outfit. So they're going to come. They're going to take over the Dragons, give it an overhaul. Hopefully they keep them in Newport. If not, obviously there's a chance Rodney Parade could be sold off and made into houses, and we're lumbered. So at the moment, the Welsh Rugby Union, the future of Rodney Parade, is looking brighter than it did a while ago. The pitch, we're going to have one of the best pitches in League Two when they've laid down this hybrid Deso pitch. So if we're playing a couple of games away first, who cares? At the end of the day, everything is going to be so much better than it was last year. So there we go. So, yeah, about 8 minutes. That's all I've got to say on this matter. And I don't have run out of things to talk about. Hopefully, by the end of the week, I could be talking about new additions to the squad. So, keep your eyes peeled, guys. Let's see if the county have got anything to tell us. Obviously, the news of the pitch. We don't know when it's going to be, when work is going to start. If they start early enough, they may not even be a problem. I know we're not going to get any home friendlies, and for one pre-season, I don't particularly mind that much. At least when this thing is laid, we can actually start looking at getting some proper teams down here. Have a couple of marquee friendlies that's going to make us a couple of bob to put into the playing budget. I mean, that the future looks a lot brighter. That's all I'm basically saying, guys. So there we go. All right, thanks very much for watching again, and like I say, here's hoping for some signings by the end of the week up the county.